I was just a kid, naive and full of dreams, watching the vibrant colors flash across the screen as developers and homeowners navigated the roller coaster world of real estate. The show fascinated me. I was drawn in by the emotions, the struggles, and ultimately the triumphs of those who sought to turn houses into homes. Little did I know, that seemingly innocent hour spent in front of the television was the beginning of a journey that would shape my identity in ways I could never have imagined. At that moment, my existence felt so small. Encased within the four walls of my home, I indulged in fantasies far greater than the fleeting contentment that my little life could currently provide. The allure of a brighter, bigger world passed by me with each channel I clicked through. Each story of diligence and dreams fulfilled, igniting a spark deep within me. I didn't have a glamorous life. We lived in a modest neighborhood, where aspirations were often overshadowed by norms and expectations. Many adults around me had settled into predictable roles, their dreams stunted by the fears of failure. Why would you want to do that? They said whenever someone dared to suggest pursuing something unconventional. I could sense the dreams hovering just out of reach, captured in a chorus of what-ifs. That world, painted with audacity and opportunity, collided with the reality of life, which often echoed an entrenched no. Yet, there remained this insistent whisper within me, urging me to explore the possibilities. My inquisitive mind latched onto the glimmers of hope presented in those television shows. My heart yearned for that exhilarating rush of seeking something beyond the mundane. But first, I'd have to navigate the walls of doubt, both those around me and the ones I had built for myself. As I sat there, I didn't know any of this. I was just a child in awe of adults who seemed to plan their lives like they were drafting a blueprint. I was unaware that by watching their successes and failures, I was unwittingly teaching myself the value of resilience and persistence. But amidst the excitement, a shadow would soon loom over my youthful aspirations. The day I received the ultimatum would later be etched into my memory. I was at the dinner table, my plate untouched, when my parents exchanged stares laden with concern. Their conversations shifted to one topic that echoed throughout our evenings: the future. "You should consider going back to school and becoming a doctor," my father uttered, not as a suggestion but as a mandate. "It offers security." At that moment, fear wrapped around my throat like a vice. No one around me lived on the edge between aspiration and expectation. The path laid out before me felt less like an opportunity and more like a trap. The weight of the world crashed down on my young shoulders, threatening to snuff out the flicker of hope I had begun to nurture. I wanted to scream, to express that my vision was not theirs to dictate. But at the same time, a part of me craved the approval of my parents, the only safe harbor I knew. Buried under the expectations, I felt like a prisoner in my own life. How could I harness my dreams when I was being pointed in another direction? Months passed where I conformed, following the beaten path of recommendations. I enrolled in courses, diligently studying anatomy and medical terminology, while my heart ached for something more, something authentic. Beneath the surface, fragments of my dreams slowly began to disintegrate into an echo of what could have been. One evening, as I trashed a handful of crumpled study notes that had, in their silent disappointment, tasted the essence of my forsaken passions, I caught sight of the television again. The housing show was on, and I found myself riveted. A woman on screen talked about how she transformed a dilapidated house into a vibrant sanctuary. Her eyes sparkled with joy as she shared her process, the laughter, the struggles, the slight failures. "It's not just about building something," she said. "It's about building yourself." The words reverberated within me. The concept that we could shape our own identities through our experiences, our choices, our failures, and triumphs. I realized that pursuing a career dictated by someone else's dream would only bury me deeper in the weight of regret. The woman in the show had illustrated something profound. Every obstacle encountered in her journey served as a stepping stone, refining her character and fortifying her spirit. For the first time, I took a breath. It dawned upon me that the weight I carried was not solely mine. It was built from the expectations and fears of others. What would life look like if I shook those shackles and delicately crafted my own path? A path that was less about pleasing others and more about pursuing my purpose. Emerging from the cocoon of expectations, I felt a familiar spark ignite within me. That night, I decided to face my fears head-on. The very next day, I gathered enough courage to sit my parents down and share my newfound perspective. "I appreciate your concern," I began, my voice shaking yet resolute, "but I need to follow my own dreams. I want to explore entrepreneurship, perhaps even in real estate, creating spaces that foster happiness." I had no expectations about their reactions. What mattered was that I was finally voicing my truth. They listened intently, their frowns gradually changing to pensive stares. The silence was agonizing but necessary. After a long pause, they nodded in hesitant acceptance. "We just want you to be secure," my father said softly. "And I will be," I assured him with authenticity, "but I must carve my own path first." The freedom that followed those words was like a gust of wind lifting the fog from my eyes. I could see clearer than ever before. The world was vast, dotted with infinite opportunities, and it was mine for the taking. The journey wouldn't be easy, but every challenge would serve to deepen my resilience. And so, I began to fully immerse myself in the world I dreamed of, a journey that would take me through countless setbacks and triumphs. I connected with mentors who shared their stories passionately. I devoured books, attended workshops, and took risks, sometimes failing spectacularly but always learning. Each step fueled my passion further, adding layers to my understanding of life and purpose. Years later, as I closed my first successful deal in real estate, I reflected on the journey. No longer was I the timid child weighed down by expectations. I was a woman, fierce in my aspirations and proud of the legacy I was crafting. Concluding my story, I want to share this with you. Life presents us with choices at every turn. Often, those choices may clash with the expectations of loved ones, society, or even the internal pressures we place upon ourselves. Remember, each day is an opportunity to break free from the constraints of what others believe is right for you and carve a path that reflects your dreams. Embrace the obstacles, find meaning in the struggle, and let the journey refine you. Be courageous enough to be authentic. You are capable of extraordinary things when you trust your instincts and pursue what lights your soul on fire. In the end, your life is your own masterpiece, and every choice you make forms the strokes of your unique journey. Choose wisely, and above all, choose authentically.